Welcome to Life After Corporate, your ultimate guide for making the leap from corporate leader to entrepreneur. I'm Deb Boulanger, entrepreneur, executive leader, and founder of the Launch Lab for Women Entrepreneurs. This is your time to break through the glass ceiling once and for all and get your ticket to the C-suite. Come back each week to get the leading strategies, advice, and tools that will give you the skills and confidence you need to replace your corporate paycheck. Are you ready? Let's go. Episode 37. While you might not make it as an entrepreneur, and oh my God, what would it be like if you succeeded beyond your wildest dreams? Buckle up, my friends, sit back and get ready to get schooled by Tracy Litt, mindset coach, spiritual advisor, entrepreneur, and founder of the Litt Factor. As it says on her website, if Tony Robbins and Brene Brown were to have a baby, it would be Tracy. She is a highly sought after keynote speaker, TEDx speaker, and international best-selling author. She is a powerhouse of energy, exuding unconditional love and light. Tracy is stunningly direct, I know that firsthand, and getting straight to the heart of what's real and what's true, all while remaining loving, playful, empathetic, and supportive. And Tracy works with visionary women leaders and entrepreneurs to rise in all aspects of themselves. Her work is guided by the core principle that we are the root cause of everything we experience. And therefore, we are only ever one choice away from altering our life and results. Welcome to Life After Corporate, Tracy Litt.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here with you. Thank you for having me.
I am beyond excited. I am like jumping out of my skin. First of all, you were one of a kind. I mean, I've been around the block a few times. I've been in a lot of masterminds. I've hung out with a lot of entrepreneurs, and you really have something extraordinary, Tracy. It comes through your energy, your wisdom. I love the way you just cut to the heart of a matter.
Thank you. I let that in.
You do. Yes. Let that in, baby.
Let that in. We all need to become better receivers. So let it in.
Let it in. Yeah. Cause I'm a no BS kind of girl too. Mm-hmm. So, Tracy, as we always ask our guests, the first time they're on their show, what is your life after corporate story? Do you have one?
I totally have one. So I was the vice president of human resources for an international healthcare consulting firm. We specialize in elder care. I have a deep love and affinity for the elderly. And when I entered into that career, I thought that was going to satiate my need to contribute, right? And be like a passion point for me. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, I found myself where many of us find ourselves, which is my soul was dying. And I was sitting in a corporate job that, was good. And from the outside, everything looked fabulous. I did well. They like me. I like them. I was making a great income. There was absolutely no, quote, reason to take a leap and go do something else. But I had to, because the calling was so profound. And it wasn't as much that I knew what I was going to do, but I knew I had to get out of where I was. And I ultimately, after sitting in fear for 2 years, that's why I say ultimately, because I had the hit and I gotta go, and did nothing for 2 years because I was paralyzed by fear.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It's a very big deal, which is now why one of my areas of expertise in teaching is fear, because I got to learn so much through the course of what it did for me. When I would sit there thinking about, okay, I'm going to go into a serving profession. I looked up everything from psychotherapy to, coaching and everything in between, and ultimately landed on coaching and researched all the best schools. And here I am, an adult going back to school. Mm-hmm. And side note, I hated school growing up. Like, I was so disinterested in learning or, anything like that. But then in my older age, when you find something you're passionate about, now I'm like the geekiest, nerdiest, most obsessive student, which is awesome. But to sit there and have thoughts like, what if this doesn't work? What if I suck? What if it's too risky? What if I'm no good? What if people don't like me? What if I don't think that this is, what if I don't what if I think I'm better than I think I'm going to be? And it was those kind of fear-based thoughts that were circling in my mind and body for 2 years before I finally took the leap and did what I needed to do what I do now.
So what was the catalyst? How'd you get beyond the fear?
The catalyst was, and I will say this, I never got beyond the fear. Nobody ever does. I am scared every day and I love it. So that's the first thing. We could talk about that in a moment. But the catalyst was, I was away with my husband. We were, in a beautiful hotel on the beach. And I was sitting outside on the back patio, darkness. All I could hear was the crashing of the waves. He went inside to go call one of our daughters back. And I was sitting on the balcony, and the silence was so silent. And I had slowed down for long enough to hear my higher self come through. And she sounded like this. You're not getting out alive. You want to go down like this? How long are you going to wait on your dreams?
Wow.
And it was literally, like, really in that moment. And no, it wasn't an actual voice. It's more when your highest self speaks to you, because the work I do now, right, is helping women rise into their highest version of themselves. When your higher self speaks to you, it doesn't mean it sounds like an actual voice coming through. It actually almost comes up through your body, like a form of communication, because you're finally quiet enough to hear the truth. And from there, it's your choice whether or not you lean in and act on it. So in that moment, I was like, yeah, what am I doing? Like, basically, I'm not willing to get to the end of my life and sit with this massive pile of regret. And since I'm not getting out alive anyway, why am I not just taking the leap and going for it? And in that clarity, I got up, walked inside, like past my husband. He's walking back to the patio. Now I'm walking inside. He goes, what are you doing? Opened up my computer and emailed back the admissions director and said, I'm in. And I started that November into my schooling.
Wow. And, when you make the leap, since you were VP of HR, did you have to have a conversation with yourself about your exit plan?
Oh my God, this is amazing. So here's the thing, everyone. When you decide, the universe pays attention. There are no coincidences. There are no accidents. So when I decided in that moment was to literally say, this is who I'm becoming, this is what I'm available for, this is what I'm committed to, this is what I'm doing with my life. My initial, my conscious plan was to do my full year of school while I remained in my position. And then kind of as I ramped up the personal growth company, I would ease back, right, on the job. And then I would have the conversation that I would need to have. So 4 months into school, I get a phone call from the president of my company. And she says, I'm really, really sorry to tell you this, but we have to do a bunch of layoffs, and we have to lay off the entire human resource department, including you.
Oh my God.
Okay. I was the happiest person to ever be laid off on the face of the earth, Deborah. I was on the other end of that call, and I still wonder to this day what she must have thought, because I wasn't sad. I was like, oh my God. No, I was just like, okay, no problem.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right. And then all of a sudden, like, I hear her go again, like, you all have to be let go. Like, we can't, I know, we're good. I got it. No problem. I'll tell my people, I'm on it. Done.
This is so funny because, Tracy, this is the first time that you and I are having a one-on-one conversation. And I love that we're sharing it with the whole Life After Corporate community, because we're so in alignment. And that's why this is going to kick off kind of this spiritual aspect of the growth to entrepreneurship. Because if Byron Katie and Deepak Chopra had a baby, it would be me.
Yes. Yes.
So fear. So the work on fear is just getting to what's going on in what I call your mental hoarder's house, because there's so much crap up there, the old VHS tapes and the stacks of piles of old magazines and the talk track that you had from your parents when you were a kid. And that's like driving your bus. And in order to make conscious decisions about your life, and I work with a lot of women leaders as well as women entrepreneurs. And there's something that happens, I think, when you're at the peak of your earning potential and you're at that top of the mountain and you're looking around and asking, is this all there is? And then that fear voice comes up and it's like, but I've got 2 kids in college, but, I love my lifestyle, but I don't want to be homeless. And those are the real fears that get in the way. So some never make the leap because they're bound by their fear. And the answer is, and every senior women leader that I say this to, is that the answer is inside. And in order to do this, you need to stop going on job interviews, start journaling, start meditating, and start getting quiet because the answers are already inside of you.
Yes, 1,000%. And you need a profound new understanding of fear and why it's happening in the first place.
So talk to us about that.
Yeah. So first, just to really support what you're saying, so for everyone who's spending time with us right now, the answer is go inward, go inward, go inward, go inward, and go inward some more. Stop looking outside. Stop asking 150 people for their perspective. You know you better than anyone else. So go inward. Just want to kind of really hit that home because it's not something we were ever taught to do. It's also not your fault as you listen to a conversation like this. You don't know what you don't know until you know it. So be compassionate with yourself. Don't let the part of you that has, shamed and hustled you your whole life to be like, oh, I can't do that, or I don't know how to do that, or I'm not doing it right. You're right on time.
Right.
Now, when an understanding of fear is essential because once you really get it, that's when you can take your power back from it. And that's when it never is an obstacle for you again. So really what's happening in that moment, to your point about my kids, and I have this and I have that and all of that, those thoughts are being brought to you by your fear response. And what's happening when fear comes on the scene is it's trying to keep you the same. That is its core intention, to keep you the same and to keep you in what is familiar to you. So the reason why you start to experience the incessant self-doubt and all of the risk aversion type of thoughts and all of the fear thoughts is because you're about to do something unfamiliar. You're about to go from your corporate career into an entrepreneurial dream. Let's use as the example. And that is so unknown to your system. And anything that is unknown to your system, and when I use the word system, I mean mind, body, nervous system. It is so unknown to your system that it is seeing it as a potential threat. Your system is actually thinking, if she leaves corporate to go start that business, she will die. Because of how we were wired, because of the truth of our primitive brain, which is our first brain. It's the same brain that thankfully we had and still have because it allows us to procreate and be here on this magnificent conversation. We need a mechanism to ensure our survival. The problem is you've been letting it lead your whole life, and now it's screwing you over.
And this, my friend, is why you might not make it.
Correct. Because you're letting your mind... Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, you go.
No, it's okay. So tell us how we can overcome the fear factor and fulfill our true potential. Because, for some people, your true potential might be to be a C-suite executive in a corporation. And that's totally cool. That's totally respectable. And if that's what turns you on and that's what lights you up, then that's fabulous and good for you. And for some of us, and a lot of us actually, there's something more, there's something missing. And there's this impact that we want to make with our work. We feel like we're not living up to our true potential, or there's just this sense that I'm not as big as I could be and that I'm standing in my own way. I think that's like the first realization that there's something else beyond the me that's sitting here right now. So how do you get beyond that fear response?
Well, okay. So the answer to how you get beyond your fear response is to create safety in your system. So when you go to do something that is unfamiliar and your system reads that as a threat, it's going to do everything it can, as in feed you thoughts of why you shouldn't do it and how it's not going to work and the what if rabbit hole of hell, in an effort to get you to not do it. So what you really need to do for yourself, and what you get to do for yourself, is create safety in your system, even though you're going to go do something unfamiliar. Because your ability to change, grow, and expand is based on how safe you feel. Change happens at the speed of safety. The way that you do that for yourself is by putting your hand on your heart, closing your eyes, and dropping into a deeper depth, rate, and rhythm of breathing. Getting yourself out of a sympathetic state of stress, fight, flight, or freeze, and dropping your body into a parasympathetic state of true rest and digest, where now you are open and able to start to think on purpose, which is the other thing you need to do for yourself, right? Because if you continue to believe everything you think, you will not get there. The C-suite will elude you forever. The entrepreneurial dream will elude you forever. The improvement in your marriage will elude you forever. Anything that you say you want. Safety in the system and not believing your thinking are two of the most essential practices to actualize your dreams.
So that's why I agree 100%, and why I am such a huge Byron Katie fan. Because once I learned how to do the work, once I learned how to question my thoughts, then fear no longer had a hold on me. And if you're not familiar with it, my friends, go grab Loving What Is by Byron Katie. It's a fabulous book, could change your life. And when I sat and I started doing the work on my thoughts, like, is it really true? And what happens to me when I believe what I'm thinking? And how do I feel? And what do I get because of that? And what would happen if I didn't believe that thought, if it never occurred to me? And is there something that's actually more true than the thought that I'm thinking right now? So doing the turnarounds to the opposite. And I got so good at doing that I started to recognize those insidious thoughts as they were creeping into my consciousness. And I would say, is it true? No, bye. It became this response. But I want to hear from you, because I know you have something called choice work. Now, is that related to the fear response?
Yeah, so the choice method is very much, it's everything, actually. It is the way that my students and clients make quantum leaps, trust themselves, don't even have to think anymore at all, because in the choice method, you are aware that the version of yourself that is currently listening is no longer authorized to make your choices. Because the woman you are right now is not a match for the woman you want to be. The woman you are right now is not a match for the future that you desire and the dreams that you have. So when we are who we are in this moment, we are driven by our mind, and we look to our current reality for evidence of things. And you inevitably make choices that continue to result in the same outcomes. When you play inside the choice method, which I'm thrilled we'll go over right now, what you're doing is you are allowing the woman in the vision to make all your decisions. So having a vision is also essential here, because you're constantly in a state of manifestation and generation. And what that means in its purest form is creation. Your energy is constantly creating. And this is not woo. This is science. And to deny that you are energy is to choose to screw yourself over. So stop.
Amen.
Right? It's really a big deal. The patriarchy, our society, culture, our upbringing has done such a number on us. And I need you to really understand that if I put your hand under a microscope and we drilled it down into your hand, into your skin, into, the atoms, and you go further and further, we are just vibrations. We are particles. And energy is constantly creating and attracting. So when you create a vision for yourself, you can actualize that vision because you become so abundantly clear on who are you in that vision, right? Right now, it's what we are recording this on 11/20/20. If you imagine it was November 20th, 2021, and everything you say you want is done, how do you feel? How do you show up? What are you available for? How do you walk? How do you talk? What have you accomplished? What's the next level that you're working on? That next level you is who you're becoming. Once you crystallize that, she becomes the decision maker. So the choice method has a powerful question in phase 3, which is, what would she do? It's the name of my podcast. It's the name of my next book. Because what would she do is, in any given moment, you're in indecision. You don't know what to do. You're not sure what to think. You pause and you go, hold on. Well, what would she do? And because your vision is already so crystal clear, you just know instantly, oh, she would hire the new team member. Done. She would have that crucial conversation with her spouse right now. She would lean in and delegate that task out. She would block out the rest of her calendar for the rest of the month and take time for herself. And just like that, you are making quantum leaps because you are no longer making your choices.
Oh my God. I feel like I'm Oprah on Super Soul Sunday, and I'm going tweet that out. Those are so many tweetables there. So first of all, my friend, if you need to, I want you to grab a journal and rewind and listen to that again, because what Tracy just dropped on you here is wisdom beyond what you've probably heard before. And it is so, so, so true. So as I sit here, I'm 8 years into my entrepreneurial journey, and I am on the verge of something big. In fact, it's so big that everyone around me can see it. And asking myself those questions, and you helped me out the other day. I was like, should I do this or should I do that? And you said, what does your future self tell you? I was like, oh, right. So having that vision is number one. And then I've been asking my clients, who do you need to be in order to achieve that vision? But I love that you took it so far out and, be her now.
Yes.
And ask, what is the thing that I need to know, that I need to do, that I need to be right now in order to do that? Because I believe in divine purpose. I believe that Deb Boulanger is here for some reason that I discover every single day. I'm just happily going along for this ride, feeling blessed, feeling guided, enjoying every minute of it. And I think once you learn the skill to be with fear and understand the core of fear and not let your thoughts, your fearful thoughts drive you and determine your outcomes, then there's like a whole other side of living here that half the world hasn't even experienced yet.
Absolutely. Well, because we number one, neuroplasticity only came on the scene, 40 years ago. So we couldn't have been taught this in our upbringing, and now it's an opportunity. We're in a very real consciousness revolution, which is incredible because once you wake up, it's really hard to go back to sleep, right? It's really hard to go back to like a zombie lifestyle once you've awoken to truly how powerful you are. And yes, there are a lot of platitudes, reach your potential and access your greatness, but those things are real and they're cliche for a reason because it's real and you can have it the way that you want to have it. There is nothing about you that is fixed. Nothing. Your belief systems, your thoughts, where you put your focus and attention, your behaviors, the way that you spend the hours of your day feeling, the language you choose, all of it is options.
All of it is options.
Right? And that to me, that's like, when I really realized this as I did my initial journey, I was so taken aback and so excited because once you hear me, you can change any part of yourself and your life that isn't a 10. One choice at a time.
So let's make this real. Let's tell a story. And it could be your own story or a story of one of your clients where, this mind-blowing, mic-dropping moment happens, or the journey. Sometimes it's not an immediate thing, but it's this process of becoming. Um, what happened after that?
Oh, what a great question, because I just got off of my Mind Magic reunion call, which is my group program. And I just sat and for 2 hours cried and listened to 40 different women share their story of who they are now.
Wow.
So thank you for asking. I mean, really, it is so fresh. So there is a beautiful woman. Her name is Jennifer. And in March of this year, we met. I had put together a free mindful mindset workshop for teachers when COVID had hit, and just trying to think of what could I do for what populations to give them some support. She was on that call, and then she moved on to continue to do some work with me, Elevation Experience, Mind Magic. Since March, she has left education because she had a much, much, much deeper dream to be a luxury real estate agent. She became a realtor. She is now being invited to be on the success panel for the luxury division of her realty firm. She told herself by the end of the year, she would have 13, I'm going to mess this up because I'm not a realtor, booking sales. I'm not sure the language there, but let's say 13 luxury properties sold. She's already at 10.
Wow.
This was all in her vision. This was all in her vision. The day we met, she was a frustrated teacher. Not even a year later, she is a thriving luxury real estate agent who has a closer marriage, who is calmer with her kids, and who is consciously changing the generational wealth of her family.
Yes. And it doesn't have to take a long time. I mean, that's something else too. This journey, once you decide to take it, can be really, really fast.
It absolutely can. And the reason, or what it takes for it to be fast, well, it's a lot of things. But if I'm going to deduce it down, number one, you've got to decide, right? You have to be at that really strong point of decision, which means no hedging, no wavering, no, I'm still looking for job ads, or no, you know what I'm saying? Kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. The universe doesn't know how to play with you if you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out. It's kind of like, is she going for it? Oh, no, she's not. Is she sure? No. Oh, no, she's not. And right now I'm doing this kind of rock back and forth with my body. So visualize me kind of leaning forward. Oh, she's in. Great. Let's support her. Sitting back. Nope, I'm not sure. She doesn't want that. Your ability to decide and stay committed to your decision and recognize that, you know what's a hell of a lot scarier than what it's going to take to get there is not getting there.
Right.
Be there with that. Are you willing to get to the day you're going to take your last breath and look back and be like, oh, I could have, I should have, I would have, damn, and now it's over.
So suppose you get to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Then what happens? Suppose you get to the other side and it's what happens? Hey, I actually might make it. Is there what new shiz comes up when you hit that plateau?
Oh, all of your fear of success. That's exactly what happens. And I love the conversations I get to have about fear of success because it sounds so ridiculous, right? Isn't the reason why you're like 4 a.m. club and peak performance and doing all these things is to be successful? And here I am, and I'm going to tell you, you're terrified of it. You're terrified of success.
Why?
Because to truly hit your levels of success, it inherently means that you have it all. It means that you have it all. You made it. You get to play the wow, how good can I take it kind of game. And our systems are not used to that. More than likely, you were never even asked what you wanted in your entire lifetime, let alone allowing yourself to have everything you want in a way that's easy and fun. You have worth issues that you haven't worked out. So there's parts of you that don't believe that you deserve it. There's frightening things that'll happen inside of you when you recognize and ask yourself the questions like, well, if I hit this level of success, who do I have to drop in my life? What's going to have to change? Can I handle that level of responsibility? Well, if I'm not successful, that means I'm exponentially more visible. Who's going to judge me? What if I'm not fully accepted? When you have a high level of reaching your success, you are also extremely wealthy. You have you have the truth of your abundance working for you. And is your family going to want money from you? Are they going to disconnect from you because they think that you're different from them now? These
or
are
am
all
I going to blow it? like,
yeah. Can I sustain this?
Exactly. Are my self-sabotage patterns going to kick in? Am I going to somehow blow it at the end or blow it right before I get there?
Well, yeah. I mean, I love that. So I just recently did an article where I was talking about you're the shoe. Because what I hear so much from my students and clients, it's like, I'm right there and I'm so, you know what I mean? Like, I'm so happy, I'm so successful, but like, I can't fully feel it or express it because if I do, the other shoe is going to drop. Right?
Yeah.
But you're the shoe. You are the shoe. Because there's two variations of interruption to your success or happiness, external or internal. External is irrelevant when you're really doing inner work because you get to experience your external circumstances however you want. So if you're working on something and let's say you don't get the promotion you went after, you want to say, see, I told you the shoe was going to drop. And I'm going to say, no, everything's happening for your highest good. What's the gift? There's something better on the other side. Keep going.
Exactly.
Right? So you don't have to interpret it as the shoe. And the internal variation of the shoe is when you sabotage yourself, consciously or unconsciously, but more often than not, it's unconscious. And you'll actually be the thing like you're launching a new program. And then you want to turn around and tell me like, nobody signed up. And then I'm going to say, well, what work did you do to get it out there? Were you visible? Yeah. Did you write? But then you're going to go, oh my God, I really didn't. Yes. Because you're doing a sabotage game. So you are the shoe, which is like, yes, amazing.
You are the shoe. Get your hustle on, baby. If you want to make it work, you get your hustle on. So Tracy, we covered so much ground. This has just been such a rich conversation. I'm sure I'd love to have you back again at a later date so we can keep it going, because for some of our listeners, this is really the first time that they're hearing this. And for others, maybe it's not the first time that you're hearing this, but it's the first time that you're actually letting it seep in. So with that, how can our listeners stay in touch with you? Is there something that they can opt in for, or how do they get more Litt Factor?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. So what I'd love to give you is I have a 30-minute training for you all about creating safety in your system, because it is the most essential first step for your higher consciousness, for your awareness, and for your ability to do the things that you're currently afraid of doing. So you can go to feelthepowerofcalm.com, feelthepowerofcalm.com, and that will get you the training right to your inbox, and that will start to keep us connected. And then you can find me everywhere on social media under the Litt Factor, and it's LITT with 2 T's.
And follow you on Facebook too, because I love your Facebook lives. They are so insightful. They're so uplifting. You are just so raw and real, my friend. You are right there, 100% present. And it's just such a pleasure being in your orbit.
Thank you so much. I am so grateful. And I feel the same about you. You know, we got to meet together as we were working on ourselves, which is another thing I'd like to say. You need support. You cannot grow on your own. You cannot create on your own. We are primal beings. We are not meant to do things alone. So please stop trying.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I meant to say that before, that we all got coaching, right? So in order to get out of my own way, it was coaching. I had a life coach. I had a health coach. I had a spiritual coach. I was going on 10-day silent meditation retreats to get quiet enough to hear my inner voice. And that took support. And it's hard. It's really, I would say it's impossible to do it on your own. And this is also why you might not make it if you're not willing to reach out and get help. And so
1,000%. And I want to support what you're saying. And I want to lean in a little bit harder. You won't make it on your own. It's trying to find your own blind spots. And that's impossible, because right now you believe your thoughts and you actually think that the reality you're experiencing is real. And you want to justify your own limitations. And you have spent time with people that commiserate with those limitations. You have to get yourself out of where you currently are, and better yet, have someone who loves you so hard and can see your vision for you until you're able to see it. You have to have help. It's not even like optional.
It's not even an option.
It's not.
So let's leave it there, Tracy. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the reviews on Life After Corporate. It means so much to me that you listen to the show and that you leave your thoughts in a review on iTunes. We're going to start and continue along this series of upping your spiritual game and how you really get in touch with where the source of your success really comes from. That's it for now, my friend. Till next time. Thanks for listening, my friend. If you enjoyed this show, please head over to iTunes and subscribe and leave us a review. And be sure to hop over to the Life After Corporate Facebook group and join other growing entrepreneurs to get weekly tips on how to create more money and meaning doing work you love.